Hello folks, part 3 of our final project for digital music here. So assuming you've been keeping up with part 1 and 2, this screen should look familiar. I have all my loops that were created in Groovebox saved and now imported into GarageBand. So each column now represents a specific section of my song. And I've already kind of skipped ahead here and created what will be our next layer, which is the Vocoloco auto-tuning for your next layer of your tracks. So we can add some real interesting, as we know, kind of vocalization stuff through our microphone. It gets synthesized on the spot, and it does play nice here inside of GarageBand, so we can directly record using that plugin. So I'll be showing how that works here in this tutorial as well. So again, assuming you have at least 4 sections to a song set up. This is one that I had made previously, just kind of building up in complexity. The nice thing with GarageBand is it takes care of all the timing for us. So once these loops are incorporated into here, as you can see, they're just set on a loop, and you have your tempo set up, and it just plays through your entire loop. And then you can make selections about when the next section starts. So let's say our last goal is we want to add some sort of kind of interesting audio effects on top using that Vocoloco app. So the first thing to do would be to go into Vocoloco and get it set up how you want it, with the effect that you want. So I've already set mine up to sound how I would kind of want it on my track, and then I go into back to GarageBand, and I'm ready to use it as a plugin on the GarageBand application now. So since you don't have this new row here yet, you would have to click the plus sign here, and you're going to be adding in not a loop this time, but an actual it's classified as an instrument. So you could add any number of tracks that you want, but what we're trying to do is utilize some of these inter-app audio. You can access it through there, or another easy way to go is through the audio recorder, and just go right to voice recorder. You might be on the fun tab here, but switch over to studio, or I guess it doesn't necessarily matter. But either way, we're going to click on this little input jack icon right here where I'm kind of highlighting, and it's asking about input settings. Right now it's being input through our iPad's mic. We want to switch this to inter-app audio. Connect to inter-app audio apps. You can go to either of these options, but let's select instrument. And the Vocoloco plugin is called AB Sender. So we're going to go ahead and tap that. What that does is now essentially sets me up to be recording in my Vocoloco auto-tune. So I'm actually going to turn that off for just a moment because it's a little distracting. But either way, your kind of final challenge here is to add some sort of vocal track on top, kind of like our previous creation in Vocoloco. I saw some of you humming, whistling, whatever. Just find some sort of source of sound and run it through the synthesizer and have it output something interesting for your next track. Anyways, so assuming you're ready to record, what you would want to do is get a loop started so you have something to go off of. And then tap into a new cell by your microphone, record into cell. Tap that in, instrument, AB Sender. And my loop is running, so I can kind of prepare record. Mashed potato. We're good with gravy and corn. When you're done, hit stop. And if I go back to my loops, I now have these two separate loops. Mashed potato. We're good with gravy. And I'm already on my way to a masterpiece. And as you can see, I've created a couple different ones already, just with some differing sounds. That was just kind of a humming kind of track, and this one I just try to come up with like an example loop of some kind, or a hook of some kind, just a few words strung together. Nice, so spend some time adding a few just kind of fun vocal tracks. If there's any that don't make the cut, you can tap down here at any time. This goes into the edit mode. Tap on a cell that you don't want, delete, and try again. It's all about the creative process. Last step today is how to create a official recording out of your loops here. Easiest way is if you've set up sections for your song, you can just kind of hit through each column of your song whenever you think is a good point for a transition. And meanwhile, the whole GarageBand track will be recording up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and record this track. I'll probably just let it play through each of its sections in its entirety, and then maybe wrap it back down to some less complex sections. You can maybe skip forward to the next, I don't know, the last minute or so of this video if you don't want to see me recording it. But if you have any uncertainties about this part, take a watch as I record my session here. So I'm going to go back to the start, click record, and Done. So it looks like I came in just under 100 bars or so. So what's cool is if I went to my track view, which was up at the top there, I now have this nice audio track ready to go, and all is well in the world, and I'm ready to now export this project. So back to the project page up here, that saves for me. Okay, last section here is how to save your song. So you've done your recording, you're ready now to share it. So tap and hold in your project space here on your song. This would be a good time to rename it something. Once you've done that, another long hold and go down to share. You want it saved as a song. And go ahead and save it as a WAV, uncompressed file type, WAV. Then go ahead and click share at the top here. And then you will want it to save to your iPad. And the best way to do that seems to be is to tap open in. And give it a moment to export and process your song file. Then you shall click Save to Files on this next pop-up that comes here. And you'll be tasked with a location, so you'll say on my iPad. Save. Great, so we've saved the file off to Schoology, and find in my final discussion here for your the rubrics attached and your submission spaces here. When you click attach, you will want to do select from apps. And you should see a file pop up right in the first space here, named the same thing that you just named it in GarageBand. And from here, you're just making a post with an attachment that will take a moment to upload. But that'll allow me to hear your file and others to hear your absolute masterpiece as well, which I'm sure you're all very excited about. So for me, this is your last big project. It kind of puts together everything we've been doing on our iPads, and you get pretty darn close to creating a pretty professional sounding multi-track session using a couple different apps all working together. So craft those loops in Groovebox, save them, bring them into GarageBand and let it handle your track timing, and then using Vocoloco to add some auto-tune on top, just for some excitement. So the rubric is attached to this discussion, and I might just cancel this so that you can see the rubric here quick. But on the info side, this is where you would see exactly everything I want to see. So like I just mentioned, using Groovebox, Vocoloco, and GarageBand in unison, and combined and tweaked in GarageBand and exported as a WAV file and shared here. Good luck.